Coming to you from Kansas City, Kansas. Welcome to Late Nite Lemonade, where we juice it, drink it, serve it, with our hosts Luke and Matt. And then we have our guest host for us today, Clark, and then Slidr. This is where we're going to have some guests and give their own little critique of what they do in their careers. And upcoming things that they have for us.
So we've got two guests today, and we've got Clark and Slidr, and both of these guys are one's an author and one's a rapper. So I guess we'll start with you because you're closest to the sign over there. What do you do?
I'm a writer. I'm writing usually epic fantasy or just kind of a mystical side of literature.
Okay. So I hear that possibly there's a book coming out pretty soon.
Working title I have right now is Crawl Shore. It's this little Arctic town that ends up having not so hot of a winter. No, it's on the hot side.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. Do you have like a target audience or person that you would most interest with?
Not really. I don't keep a demographic in mind when I write. I just write a really good story.
Yeah. I mean, write a story, sometimes it just lives itself, and some people will find it on all aspects. So it's pretty neat. Would you say that it's easy to write or to think about writing?
Depends on the day, depends on what you have going on in your life and everything like that. Some people work full-time jobs and have kids and try to write. Other people have a side gig and try to write. It depends very much.
Basically, when you get your squeeze in, when your time, and
yes.
the thought comes, and some people just have that, just jotted down and being able to have like a fantasy story or even how they feel. Sometimes it comes easy. I've tried myself to write. Sometimes it can be about the silliest thing. I know me and Luke in high school, we wrote about chicken nuggets. Yeah. So it's just writing could be something small, where it's just meaningless, or even just something heartfelt. So that's great that you're trying to achieve that and have your own product out there. It's great.
Yeah.
What about you? I hear that you have a rap career in the upcoming and going on. How is that? How would that inspire you?
Like, I don't know. I've pretty much been interested in like singing.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was younger, I honestly I wanted to be a singer for some reason, but I started listening to hip hop and rap, and I started wanting to make my own music. So, because I started out with a different name. My first name was AJ Trippins, but I didn't like that name. So
yeah,
AJ Trippins.
AJ Trippins, yeah. The AJ didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It literally stood for nothing. I just made it because I thought it sounded cool.
It sounds like one of those name generators that you get online.
I don't know if I might have probably used that, but
yeah.
I just thought of Slidr because it's something you remember and it's short. Like
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little
short,
Yeah.
You remember it, so if you're Slidr, you probably think of me.
Oh, I can get that.
Yeah.
So, with the rap career, what would set you to be the difference in trying to make your own music? What do you think that you try best and try to go forward doing?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what would make it to where you can be the difference in breaking out in your own rap career? What do you think you bring to the table to make that, to become famous?
I feel like I have really good ad-libs.
Yeah?
And I feel like my lyrics are I feel like they're cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Really good mixing. I know I've been told I got really good mixing. And I don't know, I just have a drive to do it, so I feel like if I try hard enough, I'd be able to make it.
Yeah, I tell you, having the heart and just being able to sing and express yourself in that way, it takes a lot, to be able to be kind of original or just stay on the head of the game or even trend. To be the difference in the rap game, it's very simple in its own way, but very difficult. Being able to make music, it's got to make sense.
Yeah, and figure everything out.
Yeah,
figure out what you can do.
yeah. It's more than just singing or rapping too. You make a melody,
Yeah.
beat, and all that. So I get that.
And so you're both authors because you're writing
Technically.
stories and you're writing music, unless you've got like a ghostwriter. But I'm assuming
Nah.
you're doing everything. And that's the thing about an independent rapper versus somebody who's got a whole team behind them. I assume that you're doing all the work.
I don't make my beats, but everything else I do.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So what would that entail? Like, what are the different steps that you take to create a complete rap song?
So I just look for a beat on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, have a specific producer. I like to look at like Andy and what's his name? I forgot the other name, but Hey Lotus, that's another one.
Mhm.
But I'd be checking out their beats sometimes, and I'd be like, I listen to the beat, and I'll think in my head, a chorus, and I put the chorus in, and I'll do the ad libs, and I'll do the verse, and I'll probably just paste the chorus in, unless it's like a freestyle or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
But most of my songs are just freestyle. I don't really write. I used to write and then I stopped. I just started freestyling.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, artistic. There's different ways of expressing it. You know, like you said, in writing and freestyle, it's two of the same but totally different. Being able to think freely off the mind, or something you're able to coerce and go back over and re-edit and redo. It just takes time to put it all together. It may seem like it can be done, you know, easily, but it just takes that thought.
It's not as
work.
easy as it seems.
Yeah, it could go somewhere else. Just one swift of a word, you could change it.
Yeah.
So Clark, what would inspire you to become the writer, like to make your own book or books?
It's kind of just a moment. I don't know, I finished watching anime and like I had felt both sad, happy, and angry all at once, and like I just wanted to repeat that process for everybody else. This is basically what I want everyone to feel when they close the book, is some variable mix of emotion at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted to give to people in writing.
Did you grow up writing stories, or is this more of a recent thing?
In a way, I got like an iPhone 4 when I was like a freshman in high school, and like whenever I got into the notes app, I would just jot down like story ideas I had in my head, because I would just watch YouTube and watch anime and watch it at home. So like I would just jot down ideas, and it just kind of became a thing after a while. And then I think when I was in my junior year, I started actually like write out like fanfics and actually like chapters and stuff.
Would you say some of the anime would help give you the spark?
Yeah, it
Persuasion?
definitely helped give like a different perspective on creative fields and such, and like it's definitely helps spark something. Yeah.
Okay, I could see. You know, it's a different like, I don't know. I think it's just like regular like cartoons, but it's got sometimes they have an adult twist,
Yes.
and then
A lot of anime hits like that coming of age demographic.
Yes.
They really try to aim for that.
yeah, because you'll see a lot of people that have almost the same like shows or content that would be like a children's story or cartoon or something, and then it's just a little bit more advanced, more grown up anime, and then that kind of fits into older generations to fit in and enjoy that. I mean, I know myself, I love watching some animes and playing the games and stuff like that. This whole conventions that they have for those, so it kind of sparks to have content like that, because I know people love to dress up, and and if you're making content for that, that's great. You'll be able to kind of break through. Would that be something like in the future that you make content that your supporters or people that could kind of do that, like either a movie or a show, or
Right.
even
Like making like fan arts and stuff.
Yeah,
like
like
that.
fan-
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that'd be fine. Yeah.
okay. I think that would kind of blossom of its own self, of your own ideas or things that you would like, and it's just something that you would kind of have that your base of what you learned with anime to have other people do that too.
Right? No, yeah. You see for this like standing on the shoulders of giants. So like,
It's a big. I can see it's a big group. in that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So you're both very creative people, like with different writings and music. And I feel like everyone can be a creative person. It's just a lot of people suppress it and never really use their creativity to create anything that either they've never created anything at all or just anything that they've showed to the world. So what made you decide that I'm going to create something, number one, like that I'm going to actually sit down and make this or sit there and create a song? And then second, releasing it to the world? What made you decide, like, I'm going to take this from something that I'm interested in and to actually creating it?
Yeah, it's a big jump to be able to publicly give it out or show.
So I'll start with you, Clark.
I don't know. I felt like I had a lot of things to say that I didn't know how to say, and I just buried it. I mean, just a story.
Yeah.
Basically. I say that I've been writing I wrote one story for like 10 solid years before I realized I was just kind of driving myself crazy. So like a lot of decompression happened in those chapters.
Okay.
All right, interesting. What about you, Slidr?
To be fair with you, I could never be an author. I got like a C in English class, so
Oh, I had like a D in English, don't get me wrong. English was my struggle subject.
We speak it, but we don't know it like that.
I mean, English is just 3 languages wearing a trench coat. That's really all.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. English is my first language, and I still don't do well with it. So
Yeah.
it's just showing,
It's
it's showing how
like-
difficult it is.
If you're not born like speaking it, it's one of the hardest languages to learn.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm in Spanish class. That's really hard to suck at it. I got like a D in there or something.
Do you have to speak Spanish the whole class? I know
Nah,
you said it in school.
If we do, I'd have an F in the class.
You're like, no.
But what was the question again?
So the question is, you basically went from having this creativity of wanting to create songs, and then you actually sat down and did it, and then decided that you wanted to give it out to the world. So what made you decide that I'm going to actually sit down and write a song, or sit there and ad-lib and start to come up with a flow and a rap? And then after that, actually deciding to give it to the world and actually show it.
Alright, so I used to really suck at first. I'm like, oh, like I was trash, but I think now I'm decent. I've been told I'm actually pretty good by some people, but I think it's like I started listening to Underground
Mhm.
and like Summers, Jace, Yee, Can, and I kind of wanted to. I don't know. I kind of want to be an underground rapper because I thought that'd be kind of cool. I like it's kind of like an aura with that.
Yeah.
Like like Playboy Cardi has like his own aura, but he's not really underground.
A little bit of a badge. Like I came from here. I was up with this status.
Yeah.
I make my way up, and I grew myself.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's kind of like I don't know. I kind of want to be different from everybody else.
Yeah, that's
And
very fair.
I think it'd be cool being known by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And make my own thing.
And I have to ask, how old are you?
I'm only 15.
Only 15. And if you're coming out with music and being able to put it out to the world at 15, you can imagine how much better you're going to be at 20, at 30. Like it's just going to exponentially grow, like the talent that you have now. And if you've got talent at 15, ooh, man, you're going to be great at 30.
I got a homie 15 years rapper too. We got a show in Colorado
That's awesome.
September.
That's nice.
2BA2. Hey, shout out 2BA223, XXS Tuba and Wrist.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts from somewhere. You gotta push and strive for what you envision yourself, as well as where you want to be in life. And it doesn't take you anywhere with doing nothing. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
I've been through like 15 flows, I swear to God.
Yeah.
And I probably, like last night, I did a completely different one. I've been told that's my best one. So it's like, I know it's like every day I'm evolving. Like every song I make, it's like I tried a new flow or something.
Yeah, I mean, you
Or
gotta
like new
always
type beat or something.
try something different.
Yeah, see what
anything.
sticks.
That's what sets you the difference. I know that.
Absolutely. So I've got a couple of questions that I can kind of use some of these, but I'll ask both of you. So what have you learned from in your field? So for you, the author, you rapping, that people should know. Maybe they don't realize this about authors, or they don't realize this about rappers.
You can kind of say it isn't easy. You know?
We can start with you, Slidr, if you want, and I'll give you a chance to start thinking about it. But yeah.
Everybody's gonna. I'm gonna be honest. If you're gonna try to rap, you're gonna start out bad at first. That's, if your first song is really good, then you must be like Prodigy or something. Cause that's
The
like,
prophet.
Exactly. That's like some Jesus level.
Yeah.
Cause my first song was really bad. I need to check it out sometime, but it was probably really bad. Like probably all over the place. The mixing was probably bad, but I don't know. People think it's just you turn on the mic, you get a beat, and you just start rapping. Like no, you gotta do like multiple takes sometimes. I know I got it, and you gotta think of stuff. You gotta think of worms. I said worms. You gotta think of words that rhyme. You gotta think of a chorus that like sounds catchy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That people remember. Now, I'd be struggling to make songs names sometimes. Name a song.
I mean, I know myself. I've acted before, and so has Luke. Different plays and different things like that. It doesn't happen overnight, and to be able to practice, either to get down the script or the words or just something to remember. It's not easy to mentally break yourself into thinking a certain way or just laser focus, be able to get the objective done. And I know from just acting experience, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can be able to handle their emotions or the way they speak or act, and it sometimes phases them out to be able to try it out. And it's just, you can always try it, and you can always go back later on. Some people I've known that they've made their own music. They were good maybe the first couple months, and then just phased out because they didn't like it anymore. So it just takes that perspective of continue going, continue trying. That's the strive for internally, I think.
Yeah, and I know for me, I'm a terrible actor, and I can go back to those videos. I know I'm so bad, and
this guy's made productions, and he's like,
yeah, I can admit now that I'm way better behind the screen than even being in front, which is ironic doing podcasts and different things. But
yeah,
I've learned over the course of doing different projects that I'm really not good at it, but I think I could get better if I continued on with it. And so it's the same with writing a story or even doing rap. You're gonna keep getting better as long as you practice into it. And if you guys have already put out things and have showed that you guys have talent, like it's just gonna keep going up. All right, I'll go back to you if you remember the question, but something that maybe people don't realize about authors.
Wait, say the question again.
Is there something about authors that people might not know, like at least about you?
I guess if I had anything to say, it'd be like, I guess it goes to both like people who know writers and writers themselves. Like, they need to give themselves the time to write, like in the day, and it has to be like
more of a dedicated time.
Yeah, it has to be that dedicated time. There can't really be, for some people, there can't be a lot of outside influence that can creep into that, whatever way that has to look like, or whatever that ends up looking like. Just better to like.
No, you're good. Do you have a specific setup for your house? Like, is there a place where you go? Yeah.
I've been trying to go to the library.
Library? I can see that. There's a lot of like books and words.
Yes. The best days are when I get like into the study room and everything, because then like I have like on my own. I have a desk in front of me. Everyone else is away from me. No one's no one can look at me because like I've worked in customer service all the time, so like people staring at me all the time. It just kind of gets me a little bit. And then I have a whiteboard behind me, so like I have just my room to do whatever I need to do for like an allotted period of time. So like,
I could see, like, as being a writer too, and being in a library, you're surrounded by resources.
Yeah.
it's a little bit of pressure too, though, because
It
like
is.
those are all finished. That's true.
Yes, but you're like, oh man, this is like, how do they do this? How do they piece together these chapters, this end of the book?
Yes.
What do they do that I'm maybe struggling on, or I want to just change or perfect? Like I could see the library, like you said, it can be bad in its way, but I could see it being really, really helpful, especially it's a quiet place. You know, it's like you said, you want to be alone and be by yourself,
Yes.
quiet, so you can get in your zone. But there is different ways for different people. I know that.
What is your kind of place where you like zone in?
Do it in my room.
Do it in your
On my
room.
computer.
Nice.
Do you have like a little mic set up, or you just straight off? Like where you have to record?
So I don't know the model of the microphone, but I'm on a picture, but I don't know. But I know I have a mic set up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have my computer down here. I got like one monitor up here. And I got the keyboard and the mouse.
You got a little two set up, and just all right here.
Well, I used to have double monitors, but I got a different computer.
Okay.
Nice.
That's my first. I don't think I have a picture of it though, but yeah, I don't have a picture of it. So I can't have no double monitors anymore. But it's kind of like my desk ain't like really that big.
Yeah.
I probably need to get a different desk, like an L-shaped desk, but pretty much just do it in my room. My door closed. Sometimes my dogs are in there.
Yeah.
A problem I be having, you know how they callers, they be having them tags on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll like get up, start shaking around. You can hear it through the mic. I'm like, can y'all like shut up?
Just add it onto the song.
I've done that before. I've done that as an ad lib actually.
See, there you go.
But I just be doing it in my room for real.
That's cool. So it sounds like you both like really need your alone time and space to kind of really get creative and zone in onto your projects that you're working on. Have you
Yeah.
guys tried doing collaborations with other people, or tried to kind of hit ideas back and forth with somebody else? Like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? I don't know if that even makes any sense, but
I mean, I think it does. I mean, to be able to write and produce something, you sometimes brainstorm.
Yeah, no, I've been to a few well, there's only really like one writers group around town, and that ended a little weirdly, so I haven't like gone back to them. And the rest are kind of all virtual and stuff, so like it's very much a more in-person vibe for me. Like I need the more in-person. Like if I'm gonna do like some brainstorming session with someone and bust out like a few markers and a whiteboard, like I need to be with that person. I can't do it over Zoom.
Yeah.
okay, so it's really more of a personal, like, hey, like let's figure this out
we need
together.
to like vibe it up together in some way. Like just
It's a person to person. I didn't know they had Zoom or video calls.
yeah, apparently. Apparently.
Are they like free or?
I mean, as far as I know, yeah.
You said the event ended weirdly. Is that a personal thing? Like we don't have to go into it. But it sounds like this is the beginning of a very funny story.
It just went really weirdly, and I don't feel like we should get into it on the podcast.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so what about you, Slidr?
I made a song with pretty much like really underground artists.
Yeah.
2BA223 and Cash Made Nico, YBKZ, YBKZ, which they're like no besides. I mean 2BA223 is known in our city, but he ain't really that big yet. We finna be big though.
Yeah,
I
mean that's an ambition. You gotta think that I'm gonna be this big guy. I'm gonna make this money, and I'm gonna be out here. It's all about having that thought, and that'll create that creation.
We even got our own collective now. Enriched, and it's 2 underscores after it.
Okay.
So got a whole Instagram page for it and everything.
Nice.
So I would say, how hard is it to try to collab with other creatives? Does it come easy to collab, or try to be able to do it? Is it somewhat of a clash sometimes to be on the same creative level? Like, what overall, is it easy, or just depends on person to person? The collaborations, how would you say it's easier to do, or it's just sometimes it's complicated?
Uh, I've never actually like collaborated with somebody on writing something. Normally, we've just kind of done the brainstorming, like working out the plot points and everything together. I mean, and those have always gone fantastically.
Yeah.
Like those have always been like a great success.
Gotcha. What about you?
It sounds like they're your homies, right?
Yeah.
People you're pretty good with. So I would figure it'd be easier to do.
Well, yeah, because I know 'em. It
Yeah.
depends if I like their music or not. But 2BA, 2-3, he go hard. Cash made Nico, he go really hard. I'm not gonna lie. All I gotta do is just make a song, get an open part, and just send it to them. They'll fill it in. They take them like a few hours to do it. Sometimes it take them a few minutes. I don't know.
Wow.
They're quick responding, so
Okay.
it's pretty easy for me.
Okay. Okay.
So I've got another question, and so when are you the most productive? Is it during the day, the night? When is your mind's like going and you're really feeling like you can be in the zone?
2 times. One, when my day just starts off right and like I've had my coffee, I've walked the dog, everything's good, I'm in a good mood, everything's going well, and I just hit it off. The other time is just completely random, usually at like 11 o'clock at night when the library's not open. I can't do jack and I gotta work tomorrow morning. So, like, what is there to do?
Yeah.
That's one or the other.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like when you get that good feeling, and then sometimes it's just sporadic. You're just like,
And it just,
I gotta
just
write this.
pops you sometimes, yeah.
I can imagine that's for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just a random time where it's just like,
Definitely.
oh shoot,
Yeah.
I'm there. I gotta write this down. I gotta start working on this.
Write it down, record it.
Yeah.
All that.
So yeah.
For me, it's like three times. Like either I'm bored, random song, and then excuse my language, but when I'm dog. So like somebody says something to me, somebody did me wrong. I'm like, I literally do this. I go home, I say a bunch in the mic about them.
Yeah.
And I make that into the entire song.
It's a creative drive, I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
it's kind of like dissing. I mean, in that song I might release tomorrow. I did that part of it. To be honest with you.
I mean,
But I mean, it go hard though. So
Yeah, sometimes people's best music comes out right whenever they're dissing somebody else. I mean, you can look at Kendrick versus Drake. I mean, Drake hasn't
Like
put out
Us,
an album
yeah.
like that in 10 years. I mean, it's crazy.
Drake got flamed in that beat. I'm like,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
like Us ended.
I mean, we got time. Let's talk about it. What's your opinions on this Drake and Kendrick? I don't know if it's going to be too late by the time we post this, but what are you guys thinking?
You want to go first?
I don't keep up with rappers and stuff. Like I just kind of saw this exchange happen, like just out of the blue. But like I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's like 3 of the best or proclaimed best artists now.
Well, yeah.
Right
So
now.
you had Kendrick Lamar, then you had Drake, and then also J. Cole. But J. Cole was a
Oh, he's staying out of it.
he was a little scaredy cat, and he decided that he was going to stay on the sidelines. He started the feud, and then he was like, "Whoa, hey, I can't take the heat." So he backed out. You know, either he's the bigger man and decided not to, or he was.
I think he's scared.
Yeah.
We got, like, look at what happened to Drake.
Exactly.
Well, and then you got like little producers like Metro.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's just making fun of them too. So there's
Just
a little bit
jumping on the
everywhere.
back pile.
Get the punch, yeah.
Rick Ross, Future. It's
Yeah.
like everybody's involved in it.
Everybody jumped in. Yeah.
No,
Um,
it had nothing to do with it.
I mean, Drake is probably most known artist right now.
Oh yeah.
Then he's put out many of hits, but he's a ghostwriter too. He has other people write his stuff,
Yeah.
and he gets that attention. Like, oh man, he made this song. Well, really, it was written by blah blah blah, but it's Drake. He's got a name by a first name, so I think it was a long time coming for them to be able to go after each other.
Kendrick came out with some really good stuff, and then Drake came out with Family Matters. It was actually good stuff, and then he got destroyed, and Kendrick's rebuttal. It was pretty funny to see.
I like what X said about him
What did he say about him?
when XX's Tasha and Drake were beefing because Drake like stole his flow and Look at Me.
Yeah.
You know that song?
Yeah.
Like Drake stole his flow and like made a totally separate song with the same flow. Like X is over here calling like saying he's not a man.
Call them out. Yeah.
Yeah. And Drake. People think it's like either he's just saying these lyrics like you don't mean him or he's like sneak this and X. But like after he died, he'd say.
I had noticed that people would pick that up.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't. Personally, the people who killed X, I doubt they were hired by Drake. It's kind of stupid.
No.
I feel like they would have admitted that because they got caught, and I'm pretty sure they got sentenced too. So I feel like they would have admitted that.
It ain't worth it.
That's the thing about these feuds. They actually bring up real like allegations. So with Drake, you've got some weird kid stuff. I'm not gonna say the words. And then on the other side, you got Kendrick with
his
wife stuff. And so sometimes they bring up real stuff, and nothing's proven. And I'm not gonna give any opinions really, like if it really is true or not. But that stuff can get you in a lot of trouble. But yeah. So, anyways.
I think X said what Kendrick said about Drake. I think X said that too. I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh yeah.
So rumors have been around for a while.
I think he even like kissed a 17-year-old or something. Supposedly, I don't
Yeah, there's
know.
a YouTube
I'm not
video.
him, but
There's a YouTube video. That was real.
oh, well, there you go.
He did it live on a concert. So
I mean, Autumn, who's 21, he dated a 17-year-old, but I mean, age consent with everything is 17, so
right.
I mean, it's still kind of weird. But
Yeah. There's so much
Just
that
depends on
happens
who you
with stars and rap stars and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. That's a whole different segment.
Yeah. Rap is a crazy world. But-
stuff that happens, yeah.
So I want to ask you both about something kind of funny. So when I was in a children's literature class, I wrote a book, and I had to write a children's book, and it's called How to Travel the World Without Wi-Fi, or Around the World Without Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible. And I did it for my class, and I made everything rhyme for some reason, and it's only like 15 pages long. But is there any projects that you guys have worked on or created that feels so embarrassing that you don't even want people to see it? Because I feel like it's happened to everybody that they create something and you're like, oh, I gotta keep this away. This is my hidden secret.
I wrote a Ruby fanfic back in the day when it was coming out. And it's Ruby with RWBY because somebody's going to ask. But, you know, I wrote a fanfic on that on DeviantArt, and I'm not giving much more details to people about that.
So it's a fanfic that you wish wouldn't show its light if you ever become famous.
More because of the horrible grammar
Oh,
than
fair enough.
anything else.
Yeah. Is it RW?
BY.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ruby the anime.
Okay.
Only anime I've watched is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh yeah, fair.
Y'all ever seen Smiling Friends?
Yeah, of course.
You seen Smiling Friends?
I don't think so, no.
It's very funny.
I know it's hilarious, but I guess like probably my first extended play.
Yeah, like you said, it was
Yeah.
first start out.
Yeah, probably had that.
And it doesn't have like that.
It's your first project. You prefer people not to
Yeah,
to go up and look up. Yeah, I've got
I mean
a
it's gone now, but yeah.
fair.
Deleted.
It's disappeared now. Nobody can find it. You
Where do you
created
get
Lost
that?
Media. There's a band I really enjoy called Imagine Dragons. Probably
Oh,
one,
Yeah.
I got
one of the
into
biggest.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, you got me into Imagine Dragons. But I've listened to their first album before they were like Imagine Dragons.
Right.
They had a woman with them, and it's like so bizarre, weird music. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do they still sound the same?
They don't. They have like, well, there's a couple of songs that are the same, and you can actually hear her singing in a couple of their early songs. But it's like almost like underground like play style of music. But it's not good in my opinion.
No.
And I kind of wish they hid that away from me so I wouldn't be able to listen to that. But all right, let me go on to another question for you. What do you wish you knew before you started your career? So for you with writing, what do you wish you knew about the writing process or about being an author?
To shelve the book you started in high school, because that's what everybody should do.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's the one. It's like it's the one. It's there's a term called term I encountered for it called killing your darling, because it's the one you just want to get right and rewrite and rewrite and get right and rewrite and get right and rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like actually go on to another and like get that done. Maybe readdress the other one, but like you need to put it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard of this term. I don't know what it's called, but whenever you're in a project and you start working on it really hard and you're spending all this time, and then the profitability is zero, and so it's not even worth continuing working onto it, and it's actually better to spend your time on a different project that's actually worth paying for, or it's worth your time. And sometimes it's better to stop with this project that you really want to do because it's just not working out, and it's better to spend your time working on something else that'll actually be profitable. So I get what you mean. So what about you?
What was the question again?
Basically, what do you wish you knew before you became a rapper that you wish you would have known?
So like when I first started out, I would keep it like when I would record, I would just keep it like going instead of like I would
Never really figure out where to end the song.
No, it's like I don't know where to end the song, but like I would just like it would keep recording and when like hold on. So like what I do is I record a few words and I stop and I record another few words and I stop. But I would keep going on. So I'd be like I would say something and then I'd try to breathe in and then say something. It wouldn't sound good.
Oh, okay.
And the mixing would be horrible too.
So you wish you knew where to stop, like before you continue on? Or,
Like it's like I wish I knew how to actually like record
oh yeah,
and like input my stuff. If that makes sense.
yeah, I get what you mean.
I mean, like you're kind of stumbling over yourself and you're trying to rap.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, I mean, I could show y'all. Okay, let me show you.
I think I know what you mean too, because it's another thing whenever you're public speaking. There's a term called landing the plane, and it's really knowing where to end. Because sometimes people will be giving a speech, and they start rambling on and on and on, and you're like, oh man, 5 minutes ago that would have been the perfect spot to stop. Or like in movies, where you watch a movie and you're like, oh, that's such a perfect ending. And then you get 20 years later, and then you start seeing this, and you're like, oh, come on, we could have stopped 5 minutes ago. We didn't need this.
Yeah.
So I get that type of concept, but what are you thinking?
You see like right here, and there's all those. You can tell it's my voice. It's like the sound waves and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the beat right there.
Yeah.
Pretty much when I record, it would just look like that. Instead of looking like this, it's supposed to look like this. But when I first started, it just looked like that.
Okay.
When I first started, it looked like that.
Yeah.
But now it's looking like that. Like that's my voice and that's the beat right there.
So you know exactly where you need to stop, where you
Yeah.
need to start.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see that, especially with the flow, like the beat of the song, and you're like, okay, it's gonna go right here, stop. It's gonna go right here,
Exactly.
stop.
Yeah.
Timing
It's gonna go right here. The timing. Okay, I get you. I get you.
Timing, yeah. Because you got to fit in ad libs too.
Yeah, exactly.
Hitting all the lyrics and the beats.
So I have
rhythm.
I have a very specific question for you, Slidr. So in the rapping business, the music business, and anything in general, outfits are involved. Can I get a fit check right here? Because
stand up.
yeah, go for it, man. I want to see a fit check. You got the whole outfit going, dude.
We got BB Well right here. It's worth about $250.
Yeah.
I got it from a different website, so it's like $30. Got some furry boots right here.
Furry
It
boots?
was like $60. In my chain, this Calvin Klein shirt.
Yeah.
You got the jeans. I got this at Ross. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
JBL pants. They were like, this was like 15. I think these were like 30. I got these at Buckles. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, man.
I be
Yeah.
going to school with the best fits, I swear.
That's the thing too about in the music industry. It's your appearance. And what you,
yeah.
you know, it's for an author. I think it's more of what you write, and it's about the book and less of what you look like. And they're looking at the cover.
Yeah.
They're not really looking at the person. You know, if
Yeah,
you looked
no.
at a picture of Stephen King, you'd be like, "Well, okay, fair enough." That looks like someone who would write a scary story. But sometimes you're like, "Whoa, they wrote that story." But with rappers, I mean, your appearance is pretty much everything. I mean, you got
Yeah.
Drake, the way that he's got almost that baby face, and it's like, oh, he's a lover boy, of course. Look at him.
There's people who think he's gay. I'm like,
Exactly. And then you've got people like Kendrick, who's got a very different look. He's shorter, but he looks harder, and his music
And
talks
he
about
got
his
boy.
struggle. Yeah, exactly. So your appearance really is a whole part
Your
of.
tone setter.
Yeah,
Sometimes it'll make your content too. You look tough and then you just you talk totally different than the way you look. This is weird. It's contradicting itself.
yeah.
So you got to go with your outfit, your appearance.
You know, sometimes, yeah.
Lil Mabu.
What's that?
You know Lil Mabu?
I don't.
He's a New York drill rapper, but he's freaking white. He grew
Oh,
up
yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
So
I see
you're-
now.
Stupid. So dumb.
Yeah, sometimes it's your appearance. If you sound different than what you look like, it almost kills your credibility. Because if you look like a hard dude and then you start getting up and you're ready to sing, you're like, whoa, hold on. He looks like a cool dude, but he sings like.
What that gun sound like?
Yeah, look. But yeah, sometimes you get some really weird voices out of people.
I think it also depends on like how you live.
Yeah,
and, like where
yeah.
you're from. But I don't know. I can't really talk.
Yeah, some rappers they go off of street cred. I mean, it's plain as day. You know where they're at, where they're from, and that's the biggest tone on some of them because you keep bringing up Kendrick Lamar. Where is he from? Compton.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that sets it right
Almost
in
said
there.
Louisiana.
You know you're somebody to not mess with. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. Then in the rap career, where you're at, what you look like, what do you rap about?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if you're singing from actual true experiences, it makes so much more impact and meaning versus somebody who, like Drake, who grew up in Toronto in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you start singing about the hard life and going to jail and, you know, growing up in the mean streets of Toronto, Canada, it's like, okay, you sound corny. You sound like a silly man.
Lil Mabu, if you're talking about killing people. He went to a private school. His like tuition like $60,000 a year.
Yeah, see, that
Freaking
kills your
ridiculous.
credibility because
Fake.
you're fake. Exactly. So when you rap, do you try to keep it real and try to actually show your true self? Because I feel like a lot of people can tell if you're being phony.
I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah, I keep it real.
You keep it real.
I'm gonna just say that I keep it real,
That's good, man. That's good.
and I see the face he's giving me right now.
What about you, Clark? I guess it's a very different world, but do you try to keep it real? Almost like this is what I want to be writing about, but I know it's popular. Like romance novels are very popular. I decided not to write that because I want to keep true to myself of what I know that I enjoy, and I want to show that to the world.
In a way, yeah. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things I want to say. Like, and again, I just don't know how to say them. So writing's just my way to get that out there in a way.
So yeah. So in that way, you're really being true to yourself because you're writing these things down, and you're like, okay, this is who I am. This is the things that I have to say. These are the things that I want to get out, and I'm going to write them down and make a story out of it. If that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Mhm.
Fair.
I got a question. If you were to give yourself advice to your past self of when you started your career, what's the most important thing that has got you where you're at that you could give your prior self?
We'll start with you, Slidr.
This question came up.
So,
I'm sorry.
so if you were to give yourself advice when you started your career and to where you're at right now, what would that be? What would advice that you would give yourself? I think I would think, and both of you, consistency, being consistent, and just whether it's thinking, brainstorming, you will not get writer's block. You both can get that in a way.
I've had that before.
Yeah, and you just hit your head on the wall. But it's just something that would help you to get where you're at, or even further in your career. What's something that would help you?
Probably not write stuff down, honestly.
Am I writing it down?
Because so some I would say when I started,
Mhm.
because I used to write lyrics down, but that didn't really help me. I feel like freestyling is better. Cause it's kind of, I don't know, it feels better say what's happening in the moment instead of writing some down and using it in the future.
So that's when you would go straight to your area, your recording session, and just speak it out.
Mhm.
Speak it out,
Exactly.
get it
Instead of
out.
looking at something and saying what's on that.
Because you could, I can see that. You could overthink it where you're writing it down versus you're just saying it, letting it go, and it'll change.
Because I would just write it down and I wouldn't even have a beat yet. So it depends on the beat per minute and all that, and it wouldn't really fit. So I'll just be like, okay, well, I don't know. I have it written down and I delete it.
Yeah. So that I would think, would lead into a couple of different types of writers. One that'll go off of like you said, a beat. One that'll go off of the lyrics, and then they'll make a beat around that. So I could see the two difference in that own way of making the content.
Yeah.
But what about you, Clark? Is there something that when you started your career that you give yourself advice to where you're at right now, or even further? What would that be?
Don't be such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Because I rewrote this story for like 10 years. Like trying to get it right and trying to make it the best version of it that it was. And I also wanted to be as accurate with some details as possible. So I would stop and do some research and stuff. And I have to get it done. And it's going to be bad because it's the first one, and it's of course it's going to be bad. It's the first that's going to happen. That's what I'm telling myself.
Don't be a perfectionist. Okay. I think that's like you said, it's the biggest issue with your first thing. Like you said, that high school project.
Yeah.
Put it away, shelve it, get rid of it, try something else. And that's some people have the hardness of trying to part ways with something different because like you said, they're trying to perfect it.
Yeah, sometimes I get like that with different photography, different photos that I have. I want to just make it absolutely perfect to the point where sometimes I over edit the picture and it starts to look terrible. And I'm like, man, what happened? I had this idea. I was just like, okay, let's just tweak this, make this a little brighter, make this part a little darker. And eventually it's not even a
It's not
picture.
even the same photo.
Yeah, exactly. I end up on one of those before weight loss and after weight loss. The fat white dude, and now he's a buff black dude, and you're like, wait, what happened?
Went down the wrong rabbit hole.
Exactly. So yeah, I've been there. Whenever you want to get perfection, and you keep on redoing the picture, redoing it, or with you rewriting until you get it perfect, and you're like, this isn't working. This is not a good use of my time.
Yeah.
And I'm now wasting my time just trying to get it perfect.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? Just kind of, if you haven't hit the right flow, you haven't hit the right freestyle, what do? Do you just go and delete everything and try again, or do you continue going with what you have?
Honestly, it depends if I think it sounds good or not. But today I was making a song, and I had some before, and I didn't really liked how it sounds, so I just deleted all of it, and I just did different flow and different voice. Yeah, thought it sounded better. That doesn't really happen to me that much, though, if I'll be honest.
That's fair. Yeah.
But if I can't think of anything on a certain beat, I'll just delete it and go find a different beat, honestly. But, yeah.
Okay.
It's very fair. I do. So I kind of was thinking about success, and there's different paths that you could say, this is success to me, or this is success. What do you guys feel defines success for you guys? For each personally, with you as an author, at least, what do you think would be success in your career field of writing stories? And if you can't think of anything, we can.
I would
I mean,
say
my main thing would be more of like people still reading them long after I'm gone. Like
Oh.
that would be my main thing. If I could be so bold, like curricular like stuff, like I could, like if I could be like some source in that regard. But
Yeah.
like that's shooting for the stars. But
Right.
that's also the point.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you know.
Would you say money would also be a factor of success?
Okay, no, not really. No.
Got it. All right. So you're kind of on the mindset of that famous saying, there's two times whenever you die. Once whenever you actually die, and the second time is the last time somebody speaks your name.
Yeah.
So it's almost
oh,
continuing on.
no, I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great quote. It's
Yeah.
almost like this is my legacy that continues to live on. People that are very famous, their names are going to live on forever.
Right.
You know, there's a dude who there's a book called Perfume. I forget who the author is. He's a French dude who lived in the 1700s.
Mhm.
And I mean, this book, you can smell the descriptions of the smells.
Wow.
That's written.
That's amazing.
And that was written in the 1700s in French. And they managed to translate it over well enough that it still does that. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but like I remember the book, and it's called Perfume. It's about like some French dude who just kind of goes off on a rampage.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's he like gets involved in like making perfumes and gets obsessed with making the perfect perfume.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, that is so cool. Yeah, that is a cool.
Being very descriptive.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's you know, I really just recommend reading it. Like I can't say it enough. Like you can smell it. You can smell some of the descriptions.
The words.
After I learn to read, I'll have to read that. Yeah, that's a cool way to define success for you. So what about you, Slidr? What would define success to you? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it continuing your legacy of music throughout the years? What do you think?
Probably being known, being rich, I'll be honest.
Yeah, being rich?
Like, probably being more known, honestly. I don't know, I feel like being rich is a factor in it too, because I like money.
Yeah.
And I like wearing flashy. You can see what I'm wearing right now. But
Yep.
it'd probably be being known and being rich. Probably, I'd like to be signed too. Having
Yeah,
like
signed.
security on my music.
That's
Yeah.
very fair.
A little bit of a status.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know, for me and you guys, or for you, Matthew, and for me, like I feel like we're in a different path. He's a manager.
Yeah, I'm the general manager, so in ways I'm successful of my own, but it's like to me fulfill being successful, it's like carrying on the training or the progression to better the next person and to I don't know, have somebody take over best me. I mean, as I've heard, be the manager you never had.
Hmm.
You know, and that stuck with me many times, and it just strives to me to be better and be successful. Well, here I am on a podcast, so you know I'm trying to be successful in my own roots of creativity and everyday life, and it just takes every day, every trying, with my every breath.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's very fair. Yeah. And for me, success would be so on the micro level, like just for me personally, just having a strong relationship with God, and then second, becoming more self-aware of like the things that I do and say, being very careful with what I say, careful with my thoughts, and then also trying to figure out how to be a better version of myself. And a lot of times I look at my life and I start to analyze things that I've done. Like if I'm in a group setting or a party, and I start to think back at the things that I said to people or how I was acting, and I'm like, oh man, I could really improve on this. This was done really well, and kind of figure out who I really am. And then on the bigger scale, as a Christian, I try to bring others to Christ. That's just one thing about me. And then also being kind to other people and really seeing other people start to benefit. So I just like to see other people succeed. But yeah, so that would be success for me. All right, so is there anything that you guys would like to say before we end this podcast off?
Give any shout outs, any upcoming projects, items, any ads or anything look you up by?
You follow me on Instagram, Slidr_U dot WISH. ATV Youngin. Shout out to BA223, repping Enriched. Up 5. Shout out Chase. Shout out Jasmine. Shout out everybody here. Shout out. What's your book gonna be called?
The working title right now is Crawl Shore.
Crawl Shore. If you don't read Crawl Shore, I'm gonna come over there. I'm gonna slap you. And if you don't listen to my song, hold on, I forgot the name. If you don't listen to my song that's gonna come out probably tomorrow, it's gonna be called Sprite. SPRIT. If you don't listen to that, I'm gonna slap you too. Alright? If you don't watch this, I'm gonna slap you. Okay, that's all I
He's
got.
coming after us.
All right, very cool. All right, guys, for everybody here at Late Night Lemonade, I am Luke,
And I'm Matt.
and you guys.
I'm Clark.
Slide.
All right, juice it, drink it, serve it. It's been Late Night Lemonade.